Yes. Hello once again, everybody. It is Sunday evening or Monday morning, depending on where you are. Yes, Louis, it is good morning for you. Raymond, it's good morning for you. Lucas, no, it's not good morning for you. Oh, that is so nice. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that. Oh, wait, we got to go live on TikTok. And wait, here he comes. It is the exalted leader himself, positive one with some jingle around him. Positive one. We have to have a talk with somebody at that tournament because you were supposed to have 3 medals and you only had 2. So I don't know. We may have to put a curse in him. A curse. Yeah. We need to teach you the WrestleScope curse. That could be his gimmick. The cursing exalted one. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Any words of? Oh, there we go. We got to work this time. Any words of wisdom for the WrestleScope Nation? Hi. All right. Good night, buddy. Get some sleep. You've earned it. Long weekend. Yeah, she's going to curse you. Yeah. Maybe that needs to be the positive one gimmick where he will curse people that do not subscribe to this channel. Do we go down that road? I don't know. Yeah, glad to see you, Lucas. Glad to see you. Yes, that's right. Louis is across the pond, so it is Monday morning for him. That is why he is saying good morning. What was it that Jim Carrey said in the Truman Show? You know what? I'm gonna have to find it. I'm gonna have to find the quote. Hold on, before we get going here. We're just gonna have some fun before we get into the serious topic here. Let's see. Here we go. I'm gonna share it on the screen. As we say it aloud, we're all going to say it together. Come on. There we go. Good morning, Owen, in case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. There we go. We got a little bit of Jim Carrey and the Truman Show in. All right. So let's talk about it. There's continues to be more to talk about with the Sasha Banks and Naomi story. And if you guys don't follow Tom Colohue on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube, excellent gentleman when it comes to wrestling news and talking about things. And he had a very interesting take on the situation today. And he's usually pretty spot on with his stuff. He was on today basically talking about how WWE is basically going to starve out Sasha Banks and Naomi. And Lucas, you are right. Well, I don't know about the 2 years in a row, but this whole situation goes back to Royal Rumble. And it sounds like Sasha Banks was maybe not promised, but was told that she was going to be taking on Charlotte at WrestleMania. That was the plan because, months and weeks prior to Royal Rumble, they didn't know that Ronda Rousey was going to be coming back. And then when Ronda came back, nobody had a conversation with Sasha to tell her that, oh, by the way, we're going in this direction. She just happened to find out when Ronda showed back up. And so she was upset with that. And then it was the fact that, Naomi, they had no plans for Naomi at WrestleMania. None whatsoever. And, they put Sasha into a tag team with Ronda because they wanted Sasha to help Ronda get over as a babyface coming back. Because if you remember, when Ronda Rousey left before her pregnancy or before she tried getting pregnant, She was a heel. She was getting booed out of the place. Okay. And they wanted her to be a babyface. So they teamed her with Sasha Banks because they wanted Sasha to help Ronda be a babyface. And then there was really nothing planned. And it sounds like Sasha was the one that, approached management and said, listen, have Naomi be in a tag team with me. Let's at least do something. And they were given the tag team titles, obviously, at WrestleMania 38. And so just that whole not getting the shot against Charlotte at WrestleMania kind of upset her, because, you're bringing Ronda Rousey back. What about what I was supposed to have? So, hey, we'll give you the women's tag team titles instead. So that was a part of it. And now I don't know if she was supposed to win the Rumble. I don't know if that was, I'm guessing that would have been the plan. I don't know. I really don't know if that was the plan or not. So now we're in the situation where, yeah, exactly. Kind of like, different situation, but kind of the same scenario. WWE now has basically wiped the slate clean of Sasha Banks and Naomi. They're not even listed on the alumni section of the WWE website. They're gone. All of their merchandise is out of WWEshop.com. They have been taken out of the Then Now Forever promo package, being replaced by Cody Rhodes and, is it Cody and Ronda or Cody and Bianca? It's Cody and a woman. I don't remember who the woman is. And now it sounds like, according to what Tom Collahue was saying today, basically WWE is freezing their contracts and they are not going to allow them to do anything else. Haha. But Brian, you may be wrong. Tom Collahue is saying that Sasha Banks is not going to be able to do anything with Disney. That the only reason she is able to do that is because WWE has granted her permission. Now, that raises red flags to me immediately. That, again, this is that whole independent contractor versus employee thing. And is this collusion? What is going on with this? Does it state, and we'd have to hear it from somebody that has actually physically seen WWE contracts. Does it state that they are not allowed to do anything outside of WWE programming without the express consent and permission of World Wrestling Entertainment? So usually I trust a lot of what Tom Collahue says, but this one kind of raised red flags to me. Like, wait a second, are they allowed to do this? Can they prevent Sasha Banks from going off and doing work with Disney or, any of those things? And it's the same thing with Naomi, that she cannot do anything outside of WWE. I can see this very quickly turning into lawsuits and very quickly turning into something legal, saying, listen, I am an independent contractor with World Wrestling Entertainment. You can prevent me from going and working for other wrestling shows, wrestling specific shows. You cannot prevent me from providing for my family, even though I am under contract with you, but I'm having a dispute with you. So this situation, I said this on Tuesday night, and I've been saying it all week long. And it's kind of funny. I tweeted this earlier. All of a sudden today, some of the big wrestling, big wrestling accounts on Twitter are now all of a sudden saying, oh, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Hello, raising my hand. Yeah, I may be the little guy in the room here, but I've been saying that since Tuesday night, that this situation was going to get much worse, much uglier before it got any better. So, all that being said, oh my goodness, I'm starting to sound like Ango now. This situation is getting really ugly really quick. And WWE is basically doing everything in their power to basically block anything and everything Sasha Banks and Naomi. Now, I think this is primarily directed at Sasha Banks. I said this the other night. Naomi has certain protections in the name of Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman. Because, again, being Jimmy Uso's wife, which makes her married into the bloodline. And this isn't storyline. This isn't bloodline story stuff. This is real life. The fact that she is married into the Anoa'i family. And she has protections there. They're just going through the course of action because they have to treat Sasha and Naomi equally at this point in time, because they both walked out in the same manner. So they're going to, at this point in time, suffer the same punishment. But you know darn well that this is primarily directed at Sasha Banks. We all know it. Okay, how can they disrespect them like that for what they've done for WWE? Unprofessional, not the case. You know, I'm not taking sides in this situation because, again, there is just so much more involved. But to take a look at it from WWE's standpoint, these two women were promoted for something that night and walked out on the show after it began. Now, had they walked out a couple of hours prior to the show, WWE could have fixed things. And if they had gone out on social media and said, you know, hey, we're going to have this six-pack challenge, blah, 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 whatever. But the fact that they came on the air and in the very first segment of the show, they're talking about the six-pack challenge, including Sasha Banks and Naomi, and then they walk out and WWE has to scramble to fix things. I think that's where WWE is all kind of up in arms about this. Now, looking at it from the other aspect, looking at it from Sasha and Naomi's side, you know, they feel like they have been disrespected, not used correctly. They don't like the creative. They don't like how they're being treated. And really, the only course of action they had was to walk out. What else could they do? They are contracted talent. They didn't have a choice. So take whatever side you want, but this has become a very, very divisive topic. You have people from all over the place, you know, the internet wrestling community. You have wrestlers within WWE, wrestlers from AEW, former wrestlers, former executives. Everybody is jumping in with an opinion here. And again, we don't know the whole story. More things are getting leaked out day by day. And I still question why all of a sudden now is this story about Sasha and this whole thing with Ronda Rousey. Why is it coming out now? How come that didn't sneak out earlier? I mean, good grief, we are 5 months removed from, or 4 months removed from Royal Rumble, and this is just now coming out. Nobody had an inclination that Sasha Banks was originally supposed to be the one facing Charlotte. Somebody had to have known within WWE, and it had to have been released. So I'm wondering, you know, there's the conspiracy theorist in me that is thinking that some of this is just continued smear campaign by WWE. But I don't know. Well, first of all, they were not going to be in Hell in a Cell. There has never been any intention of there being a women's match inside of Hell in a Cell. They'd have matches at Hell in a Cell, but not in Hell in a Cell. Oh, agreed. But then again, look what they did to Chris Benoit. He has basically been, I mean, they spent, days and weeks and months basically erasing him from WWE history. Now, granted, the situation's, again, vastly different. We're talking about Sasha Banks, who walked out on the company, versus Chris Benoit, who did the unthinkable. I don't even want to discuss what he did, but we all know the story. We all know it. Okay. Yeah, Raymond, you do see both sides. And I see both sides of it as well. And that's why I am not taking a side in this. I am not making an opinion on this yet, because there is still more to this story to come out. And we don't know all the truth right now. We may never know the full truth on this, because it's going to be a she said, they said kind of situation. It's one of those things. Who do you trust? Okay, why are we continuing to talk about him? Okay, we're not going to turn this into a Chris Benoit memorial. Okay, I'm not going to do that here. So, guys, let's just change the tone of things here. Back to the whole Disney thing. Yes, she used her real name in The Mandalorian. So again, it comes down to, what do the WWE contracts actually say? Has anybody ever really seen one? That's what I want to see. Okay. There is no way John is ever going to get his hands on an official WWE contract, because I just don't have the connections. But I'm going to put the call out right now. Okay. Sean Ross Sapp, Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, Wade Keller, Tom Colohue. If by chance one of you guys happens to see this, can any one of you get your hands on an official WWE contract and take a look at the wording when it comes to what they are while they are under contract within WWE? That would take care of this entire situation as we are talking about it, with what is Sasha Banks able to do while she is still under contract with WWE. Okay? And if it states that she is not allowed to do any outside media-based projects without WWE approval or consent, then that's going to, again, raise the gigantic red flag of, wait a second, is she an employee or is she an independent contractor? Which one is she? And if she is an independent contractor, how can they prevent her from doing anything else? Within WWE, within the wrestling industry, I can understand that. I can completely understand that. It's a no compete or non-compete. But doing movies and television under her real name that have nothing to do with wrestling, what the heck? No. How can that be legally binding? I don't understand it. I don't get it. But yeah, this situation is getting dramatically worse day by day. And as I've been saying for the last 5-6 days, we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg with this. because they are going to do anything and everything they can do to bury Sasha Banks. Or, in essence, Mercedes Varnado, her real name. They are going to do whatever they can to bury her until she comes back to do what they want her to do. And essentially what's going to end up happening is if she does come back, and if she, as reported, she only has a couple months left on her contract, she's going to come back and she's going to be jobbing out to everybody. She's going to lose to Liv Morgan. She's going to lose to Dewdrop. She's going to lose to Nikki ASH. She's going to lose to Aaliyah. She's going to lose to whatever the flavor of the month coming up from NXT 2.0 is going to be. She'll lose matches to Raquel Rodriguez. She is going to lose, and lose some more. And I think for a short period of time, they're going to do that to Naomi. But if they do it to Naomi, what's going to end up happening is it's going to lead to her joining the bloodline. That's going to be the thing. She's going to lose for like 2 months straight. And then all of a sudden, Roman's going to get involved and say, wait a sec. It's going to be kind of like Edge drawing in Damian Priest and drawing in Rhea Ripley. But it's going to be, wait a second, your family, this shouldn't be happening to you. You need to come under our umbrella. You need to be part of the bloodline. Change the way you do things, and that losing will not, happen anymore. That's what they're going to do with Naomi. They won't afford Sasha Banks the same opportunity. I'm calling it right now. Now, that would have to mean that Naomi would have to sign a new deal with WWE, which I think will end up happening because they are not going to want her to go anywhere else. They are definitely not going to want to. Wait, what? Okay, I don't know what in the world that was. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. Yeah, basically they are going to be enhancement talents. They are going to. Shadow Wolf, that is the rumor I have been hearing, is that their contracts are supposed to expire sometime soon. But again, WWE is freezing their contracts because they are basically in breach of contract right now. And every day that they are away, that just gets tagged on to the back end of their deals. So, it has now been 6 days since they walked out. Their contracts just got 6 days longer. And who knows how long it's going to be. Yep. And well, they are storyline suspended. WWE doesn't suspend. Now, okay. Yes, they do when it comes to certain policy infractions. But this is just their way of saying, hey, we're doing this. We've taken care of this. We're suspending them. I don't know. There is so much more to come with this story. The fact that we have not heard anything at all from either Sasha or Naomi, it doesn't surprise me. I'm going to be really curious to see if this gets addressed on Raw tomorrow night. I think they will talk about it again tomorrow night. Primarily just the fact that there's going to be a tournament, and the reason they're going to do this tournament, and they're going to make it into a really big tournament, and they're going to make it a good tournament, because they're going to want to stick it to Sasha and Naomi. Yes, exactly, Shadow Wolf. They are technically self-employed. They are. And it is going to be a long and drawn-out process. This is one that is not going to end soon. but they are going to put together, it's probably going to be an 8-team tournament. They're going to put together the 8 best possible teams that they can. So, let's take a look at what they have already in place. They have, if they decide to keep them together, they have Natalya and Shayna Baszler. They have Doudrop and Nikki ASH. Do they still have Carmella and Zelina? I don't know. I don't know if they have those two together still. So you've got those 3. Liv Morgan probably is not going to get partnered with anybody else. Either is Alexa Bliss. That Becky is not going to. Asuka's not going to. What do we have down in NXT 2.0? You do have Toxic Attraction, which I still believe they're going to be involved in this somehow. You have Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They will probably put together another team or 2. Then, you could bring back Trish Stratus and Lita. You could bring back the Bella Twins. Maybe you bring Beth Phoenix back and team her with somebody. So there really is the possibility of having 8 decent teams in the tournament. But you've got to have somebody big to win those championships. And unless they get a team, imagine if they got a team from outside of WWE. But who is there that they could get? That's the thing. No, I don't think Liv and Bliss would be a good team. I don't think they would be. Bayley and Becky together would be interesting. But I don't know if they're going to go down that road. I really do. But then again, we're talking Vince, Bruce Pritchard, and Kevin Dunn, and John Laurinaitis. It's possible. Maybe not a direct parody, but maybe a team that, takes shots at them. But if they want fans to side with them, they can't do that. But when has Vince ever cared about that? It's all about the money for him. He doesn't really care what the fans think. He just wants them to spend their money. Okay. Oh man, no. Well, first of all, Ty Conti will not go anywhere near WWE. She spent 5 years in developmental, and they basically said that there was nothing for her. She wasn't going to make it. She left, went to AEW, and look where she's at now. Okay. Well, look where she was at 4 months ago. Okay. Yeah, you never know. I mean, Becky and Bayley, it could happen, or Liv and Bliss. Now, there's a lot of things that could be done. Again, I would not be surprised if they brought in 2 talent from outside of WWE. They are probably somebody. I mean, with the amount of producers that have connections outside of WWE, they are probably working the phones right now and calling every woman that they can that is either, working for, an Impact or an NWA or is on the independent scene, that is good and they could bring in. But I think any of the women that have been released in the last 3 years from WWE, I don't think any of them would come back. Because I'm surprised nobody's brought up, what about the Iconics? Yes, I know they said they stepped away from wrestling, but if the right contract came along for Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the very first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, I don't know if they would come back. That would be an interesting take. ODP is doing her food truck in Minnesota. And I wouldn't want her to come to WWE because, first of all, she's not the prototypical woman that they like now. And I mean, she's not the type of, they would want to change her up way too much. And that's just not who she is. I should message her and find out if she's coming back to the Milwaukee area at all this year. I mean, since Crusher Fest isn't happening this year. Oh, John, no. Tessa Blanchard is not going to be anywhere near WWE. She has burned way too many bridges in American wrestling that I think her days of wrestling in the United States are over. The only thing, outside of independent shows, the only thing she could do is Mexico right now. Nope, they're not going to bring Nia Jax back. She's not going to want to come back. No, Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley, it could happen. Yeah, you can say she should come back. She won't. She absolutely will not. Yeah. ODP, man, she is awesome. But yeah, WWE would have to tone her down way too much. It's like the Briscoe brothers will never be in WWE. Okay. That's another one I can guarantee. Mark and Jay Briscoe will never be in WWE. Because can you imagine just how much they'd have to change their gimmick and their characters? And they ain't about to do that either. So, that could be a fun little quiz we could do or a fun little poll we could do. What talent will never, ever end up in the WWE? Tessa Blanchard. Okay, you know what? 5 years down the road, maybe. But I'm going to say Tessa Blanchard, Marty Scurll, ODB, and the Briscoe brothers, for sure. Those four, for sure, will never, ever be in the WWE. I don't know. Those creepy old men in WWE have a thing for her. They do. The one thing I hope is that, because it looks like they're going to make them into a tag team, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, please keep them off the main roster as long as possible. Please protect those two young women. Because they're 20 years old, and I dread to think what they would do to them on the main roster. I really do. I don't have a ton of faith in it. So please keep those two young ladies in NXT 2.0 as long as possible. Moose, if they threw the right money at Moose, he'd come to WWE. Shane Taylor, I'm not so sure about. Yeah, he's another one that, could go either way. But Moose, I think if the right contract, and I know WWE was very interested in him. but he wanted to stay loyal to Impact. The thing is, though, they'd have to let Cora Jade go back to a little bit more of her independent gimmick, her independent character, which was Elena Black, which would have fit in perfectly with Darby Allin. Oh my goodness, yes, that would have been an absolutely ideal intergender tag team right there. Darby Allin and Elena Black. For sure. Not so much the Cora Jade character right now. Cora Jade is a little bit, she'd be more like Orange Cassidy than Darby Allin. In a way. But yeah, her old gimmick, oh yeah, definitely. Definitely would have been great. G.O.D. Ooh, yeah. Boy. The Gorillas of Destiny, yeah, I don't think they'd ever end up over. Well, never say never. What's Tama Tonga up to right now, anyways? I have not heard much about him recently, ever since he got his butt kicked by Jay White and the Bullet Club. He hasn't really. But let's go to Twitter and see what Tama Tonga is up to. He's retweeted a few things. Oh, actually, no, he's been very active on Twitter still. He's calling for the U.S. title, which Juice Robinson holds right now. Wait a second. He's going to be taking on Machine Gun Carl Anderson in Osaka, Japan in June. I would love a shot to book one of the shows. Absolutely. But it'll never happen. It'll never happen. I would love to, though. You know, I keep saying, and one of these days I'm going to do it. I want to do some fantasy booking. I want to do some fantasy booking videos. But if I'm going to do them, I got to do them right. So, yeah, Tama Tonga has been very active, but he's been very outspoken against WWE. But never say never. Again, the list I gave, though, please, no. No. It's Eva Marie's fault that Piper Niven is named Dewdrop. Okay, it's not really her fault. Oh, excuse me. Oh. This is the downfall of doing these shows this late in the evening for me. All right. How was my day today? Thank you for asking. It was actually really good. Church this morning. Positive one had 4 soccer games today. Kid played 8 games in 3 days. Well, 2.5 days. 1 Friday night, 3 yesterday, 4 today. So yeah, he's kid's a go-getter, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm surprised he was up as late as he was. I figured he would have been wiped out. But yeah, so it was a good weekend. It was a busy weekend, and just right back into the hustle of work tomorrow. So, speaking of that, I think I'm going to get going here because I don't want to be on too late tonight because I do need to get going here. Hang on. I'm surprised it hasn't happened. I wouldn't be shocked if they brought him back. I really wouldn't be surprised if they brought the Bella Twins back. Maybe she doesn't want to. I'm surprised she actually hasn't made an appearance on AEW with Daniel or with Brian. But maybe she just doesn't want to. Maybe she wants to stay at home and be a mom. You know, that could be what it is. Maybe she just wants to stay at home and be a mom. You know, she's got other things going on that she doesn't need to be on, you know, on wrestling TV. Oh boy. Out of the 8, unfortunately, he only won 1. Thing is, he played for 3 different teams this weekend within his club. He plays at the U10 level, and they have 3 different academy teams at that age. He's on the middle team. He's on the B team, but he fills in a lot on the C team when they're short on players just to get extra playing time. And he actually played with the top level team today as well. And unfortunately, they lost both their games. But the one game I was able to catch today, the last one, they played an extremely talented team, a very talented team. Best U10 team I've seen in quite a while. They were really good. Our guys hung tough. I mean, they were right there with them until the end. It was just a couple of little mistakes that cost them. So, yeah, they only won 1 game. And what's ironic is it was a hodgepodge team. It was a team basically made up of guys from 3 different teams. It was supposed to be basically the C team, but they were short a bunch of players this weekend. So 4 players from the A team came over. Then Jonah. 3 players from the C team, and they actually pulled up a U9 player as well. And they played incredible, and they won their game yesterday. So it was fun. And he scored 2 goals in that game, which was awesome. So it's been a tough spring season for him. His team hasn't done extremely well, but realistically for him, I'm talking as a soccer parent right now. Realistically for him, this is just to prepare him for tryouts for the U11 select team, which is coming up in 3 weeks. That's all this is just getting him prepared for that and getting him prepared to go to the next level in the fall. So, yeah, wins would be great, but it's more, and we've talked about it. It would be great if he could score goals and they could win games. But right now it's about skill development and player development for him. That's all it's about right now is, getting him the training he needs and getting him to be the best player that he can be at this level. So that's all it is. Oh, are you talking about what happened at Rampage? It sounds, I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports on if it was a shoot or a work. He seems to be fine. What I'm thinking is it may have just been an accident. And then they just played it up. That it wasn't anything serious. What ended up happening after they went off the air, there was that big melee between LAX and the BCC against Jericho Appreciation Society. And you couldn't see it on screen. But Bryan Danielson and I believe Chris Jericho were down at the end of the ramp where the ramp met the apron. And I believe Moxley may have been over there with Jake Hager too. And somehow Danielson's leg got caught in between. I don't know how it happened. If somehow the stage moved or it collapsed or what, but his leg got caught in between the edge of the ramp and the ring apron. And he was there for like 10 minutes and supposedly was in a lot of pain and everything else, but there hasn't been any. And this happened on Wednesday night. Keep in mind, Rampage was taped on Wednesday night. So there have been zero reports on this. So that's why I'm thinking if it was real, there was no injury. But I think it was just more storyline than anything else. All right. I am going to get going here. Thank you very much again for tuning in. Day number 82. Day number 82 in a row. I'll be back tomorrow night with some version of a Raw watch along tomorrow night. I got to see how things go with work tomorrow. I may do the full 3 hours tomorrow night just because I want to see. There's a number of things that are going to be addressed tomorrow night, I believe. They are going to address again the WWE Women's Tag Team title situation. They are going to address the Usos beating RK Bro, which it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, that feud is not over yet. That is going to continue on. Obviously, they're not going to have Orton and Riddle at Raw tomorrow night. They're going to play up the injury angle. They're going to continue on with that. I still believe they're going to have a Hell in a Cell match. I still truly believe that we are going to end up getting a rematch, and it's going to be inside Hell in a Cell based off of Roman Reigns getting involved. That'll happen. And that feud's going to continue on, but it's going to lead into Riddle. Riddle is going to be the one that again gets attacked by Roman Reigns, and that's going to lead to Riddle versus Roman at Money in the Bank. What are they going to do next after that, though? After Hell in a Cell for the Tag Team Championships? I don't know. Is it going to be Street Profits? I would think that would be the next plausible group, because there aren't any other babyface tag teams, are there? You've got Street Profits, you've got Viking Raiders, but they're busy in NXT right now. They don't have any other babyface tag teams, unless they either make one, or do they even have one to call up from NXT? I don't think so. Unless they would happen to maybe bring up Creed Brothers, maybe, or maybe some point in time you get AJ and Finn. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that. AJ and Finn versus the Usos. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be a turn, at least not yet. At least not until after Money in the Bank. But I wouldn't be surprised. They may not even do it, because Randy Orton's having a ton of fun right now in this tag team. I don't think they're going to break them up anytime soon. It would be a mistake. All right, I'm out of here. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments and the questions. You guys are doing an incredible job. I really appreciate it. Please share this channel with your friends. I would appreciate it. If you know any wrestling fans out there that like this sort of content, please share it with your friends, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, my Instagram channel, my Twitter feed. Please share it with as many people as you can. Let's grow this family here. Let's get it growing even bigger as we continue on. No, we're not going to see Edge and Priest versus the Usos, because it would be heel versus heel, and they don't do a lot of that. So, all right. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow night. I will do my best to let you guys know in advance what time I'll be coming on with the Raw watch along. Like I said, depending on work, I may end up doing all 3 hours live tomorrow night. Because again, I think we're going to see some interesting things tomorrow night. We shall see. But I'll let you guys know as soon as I can. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow.